Okay, folks, I know I hadn't been doing a lot of videos lately because of the fact that I've had some technical difficulties going on. But this is the Isaac David Brigmond show, and you know that I'm also the pastor of the Christian Hearts Christian Fellowship online ministry, but I just started a free yard sale on Facebook, which is the Gospel Flea Market. It's basically one where I started the page like a flea market, but it's up to you how you sell your stuff. You don't have to ask me, may I sell on there? Just go right ahead. As long as you sell things that are approved by God. If they're not approved by God, then you can't sell it. You can't sell nothing dirty. Like if you got a nice shirt and say somebody wanted to buy that shirt, then it's up to you how much you price that shirt, and it's up to you how you meet that person to get that shirt. But I gave you the platform to sell it on, a flea market platform on Facebook. But also, I've been having some technical difficulties, and when I do, there'll be a whole bunch of videos put out that I done some days ago, and I should have already put them out, but I was kind of backlogged or lagging. And I'm not talking about technical wise, I'm talking about technical and physical wise. But anyways, today is the 12th of July, 2016, and I just want to talk to y'all today. You ever notice on there, on Facebook, YouTube, MySpace, Twitter, and every one of them, there'll be times when people can put comments and videos out, and they'll do it. Then they do it, and then you find out later, whoa, dude, why are y'all putting hateful stuff out there about other people? I understand that on YouTube there's been videos where people would hate something so badly, they would go off the deep end to prove it. They would go to the point to actually do a reaction video. And if you didn't know what that is, it's saying that if I thought that somebody needed talked about on YouTube, I would do a video about that person and then tell you about what I feel you should know about them. That's a reaction video, basically my reaction to the person. Now, there's been some good reaction videos where people would talk about the stuff that was going on. I've done it before where my version of a reaction video was giving shout outs to the stars that I really thought something of, or thought I had something funny to say something about. Like if I had something to say funny about Felix Schellberg, aka PewDiePie, or Markiplier, or Cinnamon Toast Ken, or any one of them, or Jacksepticeye. Anyway, I would say it. It was not something I would say to make fun of them. It was something that I knew when they heard it, they would laugh and say, okay, dude, you made my day a little better because you said something funny about me. It was positive and funny at the same time, and it was getting your positive feedback out there about what you thought of us. And shout outs about people that you actually like. Like, I try to listen to every morning that is not Saturday or Sunday. I try to listen to Rick and Bubba. And I try to, on Sunday mornings, when I get up to get ready to go to the building church I go to. See, I get up in the mornings on Sundays, and I try to do my church, the Christian Hearts Christian Fellowship online ministry, and then I try to get ready to go to the other church that I actually attend in Broxton, Georgia, which is called Heritage Baptist Church. It is an independent Baptist church. And during my time that I get ready for me going to the building church, Heritage, I have WULS on, which is the local gospel channel for Coffee County in the state of Georgia. And so, it's basically how I do things. And with that being said, I have done shout outs on videos about Rick and Bubba because I deem them as funny guys. And not only that, they've came to this county before to do book signings and motivated speaking at the nearby non-denominational church. And I had a ball then. And I still, to this day, I try to keep in contact with them, whether or not they talk back to me or not. The point was, I had something on my mind that the guys needed to know about, so I would text them, like maybe do a cell phone to email text or something. But anyway, but my point is, I'm going to do a thing now called showing you an example of what one of my reaction videos would be like in the form of a shout out. Because I've done it before. I did shout outs, and in the process, I would say, here's to so-and-so, or here's about so-and-so, and then I would tell them stuff about that person that made them stand out in my mind. Like, okay, here's an example of what I'm talking about, and about me doing this. Well, PewDiePie, also known as Felix Schellberg, or actually Felix Schellberg is his real name, but his alias is PewDiePie. Alright, you're a good guy, and I understand you are, an agnostic atheist? Is that how they put it? Isn't it what you said? Where you may not believe in God, but you can't prove or disprove he's real or not real. Well, I try to overlook it because it bothers me a lot about that subject, but I kind of overlook it. And some of the things you say and do, I think that God needs to work with you some more on. But there are times you got on to the right thing and it was funny. And I laughed at the funny. Okay, Markiplier, you tone the rage down. I understand that you've got a rage issue, but calm down. The world's not going to end until it's supposed to end, and that ain't right now. When, we don't know, but it ain't right now. Also, you got some good videos, yes. Some of the things that you do when you try to get in a hurry to beat something before it beats you. Like you try to outdo a timer on a game, and then the time runs out before you in the game. It's like, oh my goodness. I understand it's a game. If it was real life, I'd freak out more. But if it's a game, calm down. And Ken, you're a cool guy. And don't worry about what people say about facial hair, whether they like it or not. That's not the issue. It's what do you say about it? What do you say when you look in the mirror? Who do you see? Do you see Cinnamon Toast Ken, or do you see some guy you don't understand? If you see yourself, then that's who you're supposed to be, yourself, not someone else, not what the world wants you to be. Okay, Jacksepticeye, I understand that you're digging what Markiplier's done with the hairdo, and I think it's alright if that's what you want to do, but be yourself, and if your self is the funny stuff you do, that's the self you need to be. Not worrying about being the funny guy who also has a different style for so many weeks, months, and years now. And sometimes a lot of you people, this is one for all of y'all. Some of you YouTubers out there have gotten this attitude where you believe that you're doing something to honor a friend or relative who died, but then you will go to the point of taking that to another level, and then you will, for the rest of your life, after you've made this decision, you will change something about yourself, and you will say that is you. That is who you are. And that is who you will be. But you got to realize, if you really believe you're honoring that loved one, that's okay. But if you think you're honoring them to start with, and then afterwards you just go whoop off the deep end, slow your roll, man. Slow your roll, sirs, ma'ams, whatever. It's not about the fact that you got it. Okay, it's not about the fact that I decided today I wanted to look a certain way for memorial reasons. Well, after the grieving is over, I need to be me. I need to be the guy I am. Because it was like last weekend, being this is the 12th. Hold on here. Being this is the 12th of July 2016. Do the math and try to figure out what these dates are that I'm speaking of. Alright, last weekend, Friday night, I had to go to one of the nearby funeral homes to view the body of a dear friend of mine. He was an elderly gentleman who went to the same church I went to, Heritage. He was married for many years, still married, but what happened was their health made them be separate physically. Emotionally, they were tight, real tight people. I mean, they were, the best married couple you could think of. He did a lot for her. So she goes in one nursing home in this county. He goes to a whole different town and county to a nursing home because that's how his family done it, or whoever done it. And he kept getting moved around from one county to another in the nursing homes. Well, the last one he went to is the one he finally died at. Well, we all knew something was going on when the church, every time a fifth Sunday came, we would go to that exact nursing home and sing for the residents there. And every Sunday after that, we would go to, I think first one was Life Care in Fitzgerald, Georgia. Then the next one would be Genesis in Hazelhurst, Georgia. Then the next one after that would be the nursing home in Lumber City, Georgia. And then the last one would be what was Summers Landing in Douglas, Georgia. Was known as Oxton Place and now known as Manor House. Well, every time the church had a fifth Sunday, we would go to the nursing home that was behind the hospital in Ocilla, Georgia. Well, we would do this. And last time we done this, we knew something wasn't right because he was going downhill and everything. So next thing you know, well, my mom had called me up on the phone and told me someone told her, and she told me who told her. Because we knew who it was. Let's just say a friend of ours called her and said that so-and-so had died. Well, okay, so then I felt bad about it. So then last Friday, at a nearby funeral home, they showed his body. Then that Saturday at 11 a.m., they had his funeral at a church that was so many miles from me that I knew of. I knew the church. And not only that, they had a lunch after the service, and you went home. Well, Sunday came at Heritage, and the pastor, who was also my friend, he brought up some stuff in church about our friend, who was basically everybody's granddad, might as well say, and all that. Well, then, okay, that was last weekend. Now, the weekend before that, I went that Sunday around 2 p.m. to the funeral of an ex-stepmother of mine. My dad and her had not been married in how many years to each other, and plus, my dad is dead. So, me and her still got along when she was in better health. And so, when she died, I went to her funeral and I cried because, well, during the time that she was married to my dad, it was like having two moms. My mom and her. And I thank my mom for, when I called my mom up and said I heard on the radio, on the obituary, that she had died, I told her about it. And she asked me, when I said the first name, she asked me, who, in such a way, about who it was I was talking about. And my mom, I love my mom because she was, well, basically, she said she saw it as if I had two mothers also. And that was just the way my mom went about talking to me on the phone that Sunday morning before church. On the phone about, my ex-stepmother. It made me feel good. And at some point that Sunday, I had to tell my mom thank you for it because I felt like I owed it to her to do that. And so that's going on. But I just thought I'd let you know something about that info. And also, people, you are going to be guys and you're going to be girls. This is something I don't usually talk about random stuff unless I know something about this random stuff. Like random stuff that applies to me or to people I know of. So I have something to do with the random topic. Topic, not topic. Topic. So it's random topics that I'm relevant of. If I wasn't relevant of these topics, I would not bring them up. But one I got to tell you about, guys, you will meet women that will want to do things towards you that you might feel uncomfortable about, but you don't have the guts to say it because you're too scared that if you say it, how you really feel about it, they might get mad or they will get mad, and you end up like, why are you getting mad over this when knowing good and well? Don't. Also, I want to tell you, girls, if a guy is wanting to do something you don't want to do, tell him. Same with you guys. You need to grow guts and tell people stuff. Tell them, look, I don't want to talk to you about this subject because it's going on in a direction I don't feel right about. Or if you do want to talk that way, say, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it the way God intended just to talk about it. Not this way you want to, but the way you're supposed to. And I want to tell you people, there are people that have been wanting to marry me that I knew, why all of a sudden you want to talk to me that way now when you had a chance a long time ago, talk that way. I mean, yeah, maybe those people that are female, well, they are females, because you know how my story is on that subject. Yeah, they're going to be females that, yeah, at the time that they could have said something about it in the past, probably they couldn't have because you didn't know them like that. You knew them, but not like that. Now, you've known them for a while, and now they just out of the blue want to talk to you about, I want to marry you, or I want to do this and that to you. And then you're like, whoa, hold on. Where did that come from? I think it's a lot to do with people they don't give you the attitude that you need to have to start with. Like, if they'd have been good to you to start with, if they were not good. Now, if it's your fault, guys, then I'm going to have to blame you for it. But if it's the female's fault, she should have given you an attitude that made you feel like when they bring up that marital story, you might be leaning more towards it. Because when men and women do the other one dirty, the one that gets done dirty, don't want to look at the other person in such a way, like if I done y'all dirty, y'all know good and well, y'all wouldn't want to do stuff around me hardly, if you know me personally. Like say if I was dating a girl, then if I done her dirty, well then I don't think there's a right for her to deal with me anymore, or if she still wants to deal with me, talk to me about what I'm doing wrong that I can correct. But if I'm just your friend, whether you be male or female, now if you're male and you hit on me, hold on now, we got to talk this thing out, because I got to find out what made you all of a sudden want to deal with me like that, sirs sirs and people I might have already knew who were guys. But if you're females and you talk about you love me or you want to marry me, well, I got to find out what was our past like. Was the past that we had before that day, was it good? If it wasn't so good, then I'd have to say, well, I've had some troubles with you and I don't know if I should. I mean, I should say it if I feel that way. But you get scared and don't know what to say because you never think that somebody you had some troubles with would come back into the future and want to be something with you that you never thought you would be. You're like, whoa, so-and-so want to talk to me. In what way? So I'm just saying, guys and girls, don't act like you can't say nothing to nobody. Be honest with them. Like me, for instance, if you don't like something I said or done, you say it. Don't let me believe that you're so into what I'm doing to the point of, what? You're into what I'm doing? Well, then if you're so into what I'm doing, then why didn't you act like it before? Like I've been doing you good, but you couldn't see the good I was doing you. So then later on, you'll go down the road and come back and act like you see it now. You see all this good that I've been trying to do to you. You don't really see the good I was trying to do to you. You only see what you want to see. You want to see the fact that nobody wants to deal with you no more. And you figure you haven't found out my side of the story. So if you say, oh, I love you, or oh, I want to marry you, stuff, you think that's going to be your way of finding out what I think of you at that point. Because everybody else has done put you to the curb. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what is it that you couldn't just be nice to me, be nice to the whole entire world? Then maybe these people would not want to look at you like you don't belong in their life. I know people right now that would look at some of those folks and say, you don't need to deal with that guy or that girl, because if you do, you're going to get in trouble because they're not showing that they want to change their life. I mean, you got to work hard at it. You got to work hard at this stuff. You got to work hard at it, because if you don't work hard at it, you're not going to see it. I've had to get mad at people because they found every excuse not to do what I said when knowing I feel like that I said what I said to them because God told me to. Like if I said, hey, are you doing this a certain way? You know, first you got to look at yourself and find out, are you doing it that way? If you're not doing it that way, then why are you getting on to them about it? And if you're doing it like you're supposed to, that subject, like, okay, I go to church. Okay, check. Okay, so you might ask somebody else, do they go to church too? They say no. You don't make something of it bad, but some folks you have to get on to more than others because some know better than other people. Some are just total strangers. But if there's someone personal to you, someone that you know well, you might look at them like, why aren't you not doing what you're supposed to? Because I was doing the thing that I'm getting on to you about. Now, if I wasn't doing it, I sure enough wouldn't say nothing about it. I'm not going to sit there and tell you, hey, why are you not doing this? Because, you know, I'm doing it and I see how it helps me and it would help you the same way. Like, I understand that some people find every excuse to get out of doing certain things. You'll invite them to church and they'll say they're going to that church, and sure enough, they won't show foot or set foot in that church. Or either if they do, they set foot in it, then they act like a jerk, maybe a male jerk or a female jerk, then make it hard for you to ever want to deal with them in the same place at the same time. Like, they would act like they're supposed to, then you would want to do stuff with them, like go to church with these people. You feel like you're uncomfortable when they act like they don't have their head on straight. And if you were married to somebody or ever been married, if it's over with, then why is it the one that's got their head on straight sometimes it's one person and the other one's all like, take me back, take me back. You know what, folks? If we've ever been married before, and that's something I need to talk to y'all about when you talk to me on a one-on-one basis about if I've ever been married or not. But the point is, what gets me is that why is it that you people, when y'all get married or have been married and that's over with, why is it that if you're both got your head on straight, you say, hey, we made better friends than we did husband and wife. But then there's the ones where one of y'all will have your head on straight, the other one won't, and the one that's got their head on cuckoo sometimes comes back with some weird story. Like I've heard of them before where the guy was the one with his head on straight. He's the ex-husband. Now the ex-wife will come back like, take me back, take me back. Or the ex-husband will be psycho, and next thing you know, the ex-wife will move on later on down the road and get her a good man. And then next thing you know, the psycho ex-husband comes up with, you're messing with my wife. And the guy's like, I didn't know she was your wife. And then she's like, that's ex-husband. And it's like, well, he said he was your husband. Well, no, he's just my ex-husband. See, sometimes ex-husbands don't know when they're ex-husbands. Like the story about the ghosts who don't know they're ghosts. It's like saying you're an ex-husband, but you don't know you're an ex-husband. Well, you know it, but you won't show it. So you act like you're still the husband, and you'll get on to the ex-wife's boyfriend for being in the picture when knowing good and well, he thinks to himself, whoa, I thought you was an ex-wife. I am. Then why is this guy saying that you're his wife, not his ex-wife? Because he's crazy. See, that don't make no sense, folks. Get it straight. And guys and girls, if you ever like somebody bad enough, and y'all live how many miles away from each other in walking distance or driving distance, please talk to each other about it. It might be worth it, it might not be. But I'm getting tired of people that want you to do something you don't feel comfortable about, and you feel like God don't want you doing it, but you do it anyway, sometimes because you want to solve a problem. And they'll tell you, well, you won't do this to me, but you'll do that. And then you look at like, I hadn't even done neither one yet. So what makes you think I will? I don't know, but I need to let y'all go. Have a nice day. God bless. But do remember, I love all you YouTubers out there as family and friends. But I will date women. But I will make friends with men and women. But if there's anybody out there who's seen these videos and they're interested in talking to me to see where I stand in life, talk to me, you guys and girls, because if it's a guy, you might have a new friend. If it's a girl, you might have a new friend or otherwise, depending on my status at the time. All right, have a nice day. God bless.